What up? What up? It's your boy Ron, man. I'm back with another video. This is Trigger Reactions. Hope you guys are doing great today. And if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. But listen, we're back with another one, man. Mr. Jordan Peterson, doing what he do best. Informing the misinformed. Exposing the woke. And just straight obliterating those who come at him with their ignorance. So look, man, this ABC reporter was interviewing Jordan Peterson, and things came up about women, gender, Marxism, just a bunch of different topics. And let's see how Mr. Peterson handles it. Let's get into it, guys.
Looking back over history, I've written the idea that women were oppressed throughout history is an appalling theory.
So you want to go against the biological ticking of humans, that women are the raisers of children?
That's biologically correct, sir.
Men have had less of a...
Really? Have they? Have they? By what standard? By what standard?
Well, I'm just saying if you're a woman...
How about war?
That's a good one. See, this is the thing. I think throughout all of this, what bothers me is we try to... A lot of people in media and reporters, they try to divide men and women. They make us against each other. There are great things that women do and that they're needed for to push humanity forward. And there are men. You can't compare or take away from either. But there has been a huge uprise in women and their rights. And they're all about being equal, which... I think sometimes people don't understand what equal means. You know? Equal, congruent. What do these terms mean? The same. What does this mean? But let's keep going, guys.
I want to stop being a pathetic weasel.
Yeah, that would be good. Are you a pathetic weasel?
Well, I'd like
You
your
seem to
thoughts
be
on
doing
that.
all right.
I'm doing fine.
Yeah, well, so you're not as pathetic as you might be.
I'm 28 years old, can't
Yeah.
cook.
Yeah,
Tried to quit smoking about 6 times. Rarely exercise.
yeah.
I'm a vegetarian who ordered butter chicken on the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Haven't been in a relationship that lasted longer than a year since 2011. Hate my job. Never remember anyone's birthday. Still renting. Don't know what Bitcoin is. Haven't read a full book since 2012.
Yeah.
Including yours.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Oh, if I would have known that, I would have never showed up for the interview.
Which part? Which
Oh,
part
the whole
disgusts
thing
you
is
the
just
most?
a mess.
I don't clean my room, but I do pay someone to clean my room. Does that still count?
Yeah, well, it's a metaphor, obviously, you know. And the thing is, it's not that easy to put your room in order. It actually requires a lot of thought. You have to think about your closet, all right? What should you be wearing? Where are you going to put everything? You know, you have to think about how you want your room organized so that you can do whatever it is that you want to do in there, so that the room compels that, or at least allows it to happen. And if you do it right, you learn a lot. And the thing that's interesting about it is you can actually do it. Most people have a room. It's like, there's a place to start, man. It's a little corner of the world that's actually under your control. So see what you can do with it.
What are the limits of that idea, though? Because you can have a lovely clean room,
Yeah.
but if for my generation, you know, we're looking down the barrel of climate change, we can't afford a house, some people can't get work, university education's unaffordable. Like, there are these huge, massive problems in society and the political economy that are also going to, you know, screw us over in the big picture that the clean room isn't going to necessarily fix.
If you're going to fix complicated problems, you have to learn how to fix simple problems first. Then you get good at it. I'm not saying that young people don't have things to be concerned about, because life is a concern, right? I mean, life is a fatal disease. It's a concern. You're not on top of it. There's always more challenge than you can take on in some sense.
This is why I love this man. He breaks it down, and I had a coach who was in the military. He was a Marine, and he used to always tell us. He would always say, "I don't trust a man that gets out of bed and doesn't make his bed first." And you know, for a long time, we didn't understand. Like, what make my bed, man? I got stuff to do. I got whatever. But I realized that as an adult, it became clear to me, and it's just what Mr. Peterson said. You know, you can't do the simple things. If you can't just do the little small tasks like making your bed, before you get up in the morning, then you won't be able to manage large tasks. You won't be able to complete or accomplish large things. And it all starts there. And the bed is just a metaphor. That's one of the most comfortable places, right? You get out of in the morning. It's where you lay and rest, and so the bed is very significant. And if you can't make it, if you can't, you know, keep that in order, how can you, manage anything? And I know it's like, well, it's just making a bed. It matters. How you do the small things is how you do the big things. So keep that in mind, guys. Some of you who watch, you already know that, but some of you have a good young audience who in college or young, still at home. You're ahead of the game if you're watching this channel, but definitely something to consider.
But complaining about the structure of being and attempting to reorganize massive social structures, especially when you don't know the first thing about them, which is kids, young people, 19, 20 years old, that they should be out attempting to rectify massive social organizations. It's like you wouldn't go and try to fix a cruise ship. Things are complicated. You can't set your own room in order. You can't set your own family, your life in order. What the hell makes you think you're ready to take on something like the political system? That's hard. You're going to mess it up, man, for sure.
I feel like now's a good time to let you know that the ABC is the home of postmodernism and neo-Marxist thought. The ABC's Equity and Diversity Plan has targets of 50% women senior executives and 20% women technologists. Mm-hmm. Is that bad?
Yeah.
Why?
Because the game of dividing human beings up by their group identity ends in disaster, no matter who plays it and no matter what the reasons are. That doesn't mean that, in principle, it might perhaps, who the hell knows? I don't know the internal workings of ABC. Maybe it would be better if 20% of the women were technologists. Maybe it's a radically misogynist organization. I tend to doubt it, but perhaps it is, and perhaps that should be rectified. But these sorts of quotas, they're a terrible idea for 50 different reasons.
What about looking back over history? You've written the idea that women were oppressed throughout history is an appalling theory. They haven't had a great time, though, have they?
Who has had a great time in history?
But men have had less of a
really, have time. They? Have they? By what standard? By what standard?
Well, I'm just saying if you're a woman...
How about war?
But it took longer for women to get the vote, and women belonged to their husbands.
A lot of women back in the day, they were okay and actually appreciated and had joy in being stay-at-home moms. Taking care of the house, taking care of the children. It didn't come until the 70s or 80s when women wanted to be their own earners, and that's okay, but it's a lot of women who are very career driven, which they can be. This is, I think, the point I'm trying to make is there's something to just the natural order of things. Men hunt, women take care of the home, the children in that way. It's a natural thing. It's a lot of women who are extremely successful, but their relationships, their families suffer. They're not as happy as they are, and they don't realize that until later on in life when they're 50 and they can't have children anymore, or they're lonely, or or they can buy Birkin bags and have the nice homes and all the money they could ever dream in their account. They don't have a partner, a companion who can console them and make them feel safe and emotional security and things of that nature. So, but again, I know couples where it works. My wife's an earner. So it's all about the balance of things, but you need one without you can't have one without the other. You gotta have both. You gotta have an order to things and how things work. So as far as have like Mr. Peterson stated, who's had it easy in history? I'm sure it was hard for men and women, Like that's the thing. Why do we compare who had it worse? Everyone did. Men had war. Women, had laws and things that oppressed them. So everyone had it worse. No one had it like, oh, just all breezy. It's like, nah.
There are inequalities in the catastrophes that the genders are subject to. And so, look, first of all, there's some things we got to get straight. History's a rough business. Everybody had it rough. In 1895, the typical Westerner lived on less than $1 a day, which is absolute poverty by today's standards, right? And so people were brutally poor for almost the entire course of human history. It was rough. You say, well, did men or women have it worse? It's like, well, that's a complicated question. But one of the things you can say is everybody had it pretty damn bad. And apart from the pure catastrophe of existence that was shared, say, more or less equally between the genders, like most of the time, men and women helped each other. Like women raised their sons, husbands protected their families. I'm not buying this whole, the sexes have been at each other's throats the entire history of mankind. No. It's like, no, wrong. And then one level deeper than that, I don't like the whole game. The whole game is, let's divide people into groups and contrast their oppression. It's like, fine, play it. See what happens. You're not going to like it. We did that in the 20th century, right? The right-wingers played it in Nazi Germany, and left-wingers played it throughout the communist world. And all that happened was that we stacked up the corpses, millions of them. It's not a good game. The equity game, that's a bad game.
Bad game?
Bad game.
You don't want to read this just to be sure?
If it says equity, it's a bad game. Because it means equality of outcome.
Right.
Like equality of opportunity, anybody with any sense is for that.
What do you guys think? I totally agree with Mr. Peterson. I rarely disagree with Mr. Peterson. I'll just say that. Rarely. Okay. But no, I totally agree, man. I think that, equality just doesn't make sense with two different types of, I don't want to say beings. I don't want to say that men and women are just totally different. Yes, we have arms. I'm saying we're different in our roles and our responsibilities, our purpose, our reason for existing. It's totally different. You put them together, that's when you get the equal or whole, if that makes sense. But this whole, this left, this right, who has it worse, like, look, the best thing you can have is a partner, your wife or your husband with you, and you guys have the order of things down under God, and you push through and achieve and build together. Be fruitful and multiply. But if you like this video, guys, you already know what to do, man. Hit that thumbs up button down below, man. I love you guys. I also want to hear your thoughts about the video. What do you guys think? Do you agree? Most of you going to agree, man. It's Mr. Peterson, man. He's pretty spot on with his ideology and how he thinks, and so definitely is a man to listen to. But I want to hear your thoughts, man. Leave them down in the comments. Also, leave down in the comments what you want me to react to next. This your boy Ron. This Trigger Reactions. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.